POV, Kelmy eyes flew open in the darkness of my room. My heart was beating fast, like when I run after Rian through the halls, but this time I hadn't been running. I'd been dreaming something strange, fire, maybe, and screams, but the details faded like morning fog, leaving me with only a strange feeling in my chest. I rubbed my eyes with my small fists and looked toward the window. The first golden rays of dawn filtered through the linen curtains Mom had sewn. Outside, I heard the familiar chirping of birds nesting in the large oak tree in the yard. Everything was normal. Everything was fine. It was just a weird dream, I told myself. Though the strange feeling didn't completely go away, I sat up in my small bed, further ruffling my blonde hair, which already seemed to have a life of its own no matter how much Mom combed it. At 6 years old, my world was simple and perfect. There was my family, my home, the village of Ravenhill further down the valley, and the woods and hills that stretched as far as I could see. I needed nothing else. The aroma of freshly baked bread wafted from the kitchen, and my stomach rumbled with approval. Mom was already awake, as always. I got out of bed and walked barefoot across the wooden floor that creaked softly beneath my feet. It was a homey sound I'd always liked. As I walked down the stairs, I heard Dad's deep voice talking quietly to Mom in the kitchen. Dad always woke up early too, though never as early as Mom. Double quotes. Traders said there was trouble near Millbrook, Dad was saying as I approached the stove. Nothing serious, but good morning, I called as I entered the kitchen, and they both turned to me with smiles. Good morning, little warrior, Dad said, ruffling my already untidy hair. Did you sleep well? I thought for a moment I had a strange dream, but I don't remember what it was anymore. Mom came over and touched my forehead with her soft, warm hand. Her blue eyes, the same color as baby Lyra's, looked at me with that expression she put on when she was worried about something. Are you feeling okay, honey? Yes, Mom, I'm just hungry. She smiled and kissed me on the forehead. Then it's just a normal day. Sit down, breakfast is ready. I climbed into my favorite chair at the large oak table that dominated the kitchen. Dad sat across from me with a cup of something that smelled strong and bitter, adult juice, as I called it. Dad, I said as Mom served me warm oatmeal with. Honey, I heard Mr. Marcus talking about magic cores yesterday. What are those? Dad exchanged a quick glance with Mom before answering. Magic cores are like little vessels inside some people that allow them to use magic. He explained, using the same patient tone he used when he taught me sword techniques. Most people awaken them when they're older, around 12 to 15. Am I going to have one? I asked, my mouth full of oatmeal. Maybe, Mom said, sitting next to me with Lyra in her arms. The baby had her eyes open and was looking at me with that serious expression she always had, as if she were studying something very important. Some people never awaken them. It's different for everyone. Do you have one, Dad? Dad smiled that way he had when he remembered something from before I was born. Yes, I have one. Your mother too. Is that why you're so good with a sword? I learned the sword through a lot of training and practice, Dad said. Magic helps, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is to work hard and protect the people you love. I nodded solemnly, as if I'd just learned a very important lesson. I liked it when Dad spoke to me as if I were older. At that moment, Rian appeared in the kitchen doorway, wobbly on his small but determined legs. At 2 years old, my younger brother was like a miniature version of Dad, with the same brown hair and the same serious dark eyes. Rian, I exclaimed, getting down from my chair to help my brother climb into his. It was my job as his older brother to make sure Rian was okay. As we ate breakfast, I felt calm and happy. This was my family, my perfect world. Dad told stories about his days as an adventurer, but in ways that made them sound like fun tales rather than dangerous ones. Mom sang softly as she fed Lyra. Rian made happy noises as he tried to eat his porridge on his own, with varying results. Kael, Dad said after breakfast, ready to train today? My eyes lit up. Sword training, it was my favorite part of the day. Yes. Asterisk asterisk, we went out to the backyard, where Dad had set up a practice area with wooden posts and targets. I grabbed my practice sword. It was really just a stick carved into the shape of a sword, but to me, it was a real warrior's weapon. Remember, Dad said as he grabbed his own practice sword, it's not about being the strongest or the fastest. It's about observing, thinking, and acting at the right moment. I nodded and took the stance Dad had taught me. Feet apart, weight, balanced, sword ready. As we began to practice, something strange happened. It was as if I could see Dad's movements before he made them. Not exactly seeing the future, but sensing where he was going to move. I dodged an attack that normally would have hit me. Very good, Dad said, but I noticed his eyes had that expression he got when something surprised him. We continued training for an hour, and I continued to feel that strange feeling. It was as if I could sense Dad's intentions, as if there was an invisible connection between us. When we finished, Dad stared at me for a long moment. Kael, he finally said, have you been practicing on your own? No, Dad, I just ... I can sense where you're going to move sometimes. Dad nodded slowly, as if I'd confirmed something he'd already suspected. That's good, son. It means you have good instincts. But remember what I told you before. Train hard and keep your family safe. The rest of the day passed as usual. I played with Rian in the garden, helped Mom with small tasks, explored the surroundings of the house, but I couldn't shake that strange feeling in my chest, as if something important was about to change. That night, over dinner, Dad and Mom talked in low voices about things I didn't fully understand. Words like regional instability and better defenses, they didn't sound like my parents' normal conversations. Is everything okay? I asked, of course. Honey, Mom said quickly, but I noticed she didn't look me directly in the eye when she said it. After dinner, Dad carried me to bed as usual. As he tucked me in, I looked at him with my serious green eyes. Dad, is something wrong? Dad sat on the edge of the bed and considered the question carefully. Sometimes things happen in the world that are beyond our control, Kael, but our family is okay, and that's the most important thing, okay? Okay, sleep well, little warrior. But as Dad left the room, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. That strange feeling was still there, stronger now in the darkness. It was as if I could feel something moving beyond the hills, something slowly approaching my perfect world. I eventually fell asleep, but my dreams were filled with shadows moving through the trees and a feeling that my life was about to change. Forever. In the distance, so faint it could have been my imagination, something briefly shimmered through the woods. But I was already asleep and didn't see it.